From the very beginning, man has struggled ever onward in his conquest of time and space. For countless centuries, lofty mountains mutely challenged him, standing as stalwart barriers across his path. Upon the oceans that surrounded him, he launched his ships. At the mercy of wind and tide, they made slow headway across the waters. Over the lowlands, the wilderness of desert and green valleys, he plodded his very way, earthbound in the conquest of time and space. But man is no longer earthbound, and Lockheed rides the airways with a thrust of bright propellers and the flash of gleaming wings. And behind this Lockheed lies aviation history. In 1903, on the plains of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, this history began. In the granddaddy of all modern planes, the Wright brothers won immortality by sustaining flight in a heavier-than-air flying machine. There is no fuss or ceremony, no cheering crowds. The motors sputter and catch, weights drop, the ship catapults off the ground into the air for the first flight on record. Since then, aviation history is written in a never-fading book of records. In 1928, a Lockheed Vega, the well-known Yankee Doodle, reaches New York from Los Angeles in 18 hours and 58 minutes. At the controls are Colonel Arthur Goebel and Harry Tucker. In 1929, Captain Frank Hawks climbs aboard his Lockheed to set a new transcontinental mark. Good luck, Captain. New York is only 3,000 miles away. Off on his way to a new record, one of the many he is to establish in the years that follow. Into the cockpit of his Lockheed Sirius climbs Colonel Charles Lindbergh. Mrs. Lindbergh is with him. Flying together, as always, they are heading from Washington, D.C., across the Bering Sea to Japan. A perfect landing after almost half the world has rolled by beneath their wings. Cheers and waving flags as Tokyo greets them. That same year, 1931, Ruth Nichols lands her Lockheed Vega after establishing a new feminine altitude record of 28,743 feet. Nice going, Miss Nichols. 1933, a famous Lockheed, the Winnie Mae, carrying a famous flyer, comes home from a solo flight around the world. What an achievement for Wiley Post. First man to fly around the world alone, and first to fly around the world twice, both times in a Lockheed. Colonel and Mrs. Lindbergh are starting on another and perhaps their greatest journey. A 29,000-mile survey flight from New York to Labrador, Greenland, Iceland, Europe, the Azores, Africa, Brazil, and return to New York. 1934 finds Sir Charles Kingsford Smith, together with Captain P.G. Taylor, completing a 7,000-mile trip from Australia to Oakland, California. It is the first crossing of the Pacific from west to east, and Sir Charles, in his Lockheed Altair, the Lady Southern Cross, has made it in less than 55 hours. This great flyer and great plane certainly deserve congratulations. In 1935, Amelia Earhart flies her Lockheed from Honolulu to Oakland. She is the first woman to make a solo flight over the Pacific, covering the distance in 18 hours, 16 minutes. The crowd hails her for an outstanding performance. 1938, Howard Hughes hurries to his plane for the start of his race around the world. 3 days, 19 hours, and 9 minutes later, his Lockheed brings him back to New York and a new record. In less than 4 days, he saw 5 sunrises, and the plane actually beat the revolution of the Earth on its axis. Records and more records, and these are just part of a long list. But exciting as they are, they mean nothing to the true goal of aviation unless the experience gained is applied to further the speed, safety, and all-round performance of air transportation. And with the cooperation of the pilots who made these famous flights, Lockheed has been able to achieve that performance and create new standards of efficiency. That was true in the development of this Electra, which was Lockheed's first all-metal bimotor transport. It made history on the air lanes of the world, and every subsequent model has lived up to its tradition. Here is the 12. It is a smaller ship, accommodating 6 passengers and answering the proven need for a plane that can combine economy with the performance of a large airliner. This Loadstar is a luxury transport. Certainly one of the best looking, it is today probably the fastest commercial ship on regular airline service. And for the convenience of all customers, service and parts depots have been established throughout the world to maintain the peak performance of Lockheed's vast fleet. And in all corners of the globe, 24 hours of every day, these ships fly the airways in routine flight, confidently accomplishing the jobs for which they were built. The conquerors of time and space. Lockheed over North America. United Airlines, Continental Airlines Incorporated, Mid-Continent Airlines Incorporated, Northwest Airlines, Chicago and Southern Airlines, Braniff Airways Incorporated, National Airlines, Delta Airlines, Boston Maine Airways Incorporated, Trans-Canada Airlines, Pacific Alaska Airways. Lockheed over Central America, Líneas Aéreas Mineras, TACA, Cia Nacional Cubana de Aviación. Lockheed over South America, Pan American Airways Incorporated, KLM, Air France, Avianca, Línea Aeropostal Venezolana. Lockheed over Africa, Air France, Air Afrique, Aéro Maritime, South African Airways, DETA. Lockheed over Europe, British Airways Limited, Aer Lingus Terranta, KLM, LOT, Aeroput, LARES, Romania, Air France. Lockheed over Asia, KLM, KNILM, Japan Air Transport Company Limited. Lockheed over the Antipodes, KNILM, McRobertson Miller Aviation Company, Guinea Airways, Ansett Airways Limited, WR Carpenter Airlines, Union Airways of New Zealand. Lockheeds also serve high government officials of the Netherlands East Indies, Mexico, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Australia, Canada, Great Britain, India, and the United States. Worldwide coverage, but it has not been accomplished in a day. It is the result of a smooth-running combination of men and machines. In that combination lies the story of Lockheed itself. It is a success story, modern, exciting, typically American.